Alright, what we got to do now is figure out how to get the lift under this. Take the whole engine and subframe out the bottom. You can pull them out of the top, but you got to loosen the subframe and let it down to fit that big giant winged oil pan. If you're familiar with Corvettes, the oil pan's almost as wide as the engine. So you got to let the cross member down to fit it out of there either way. I'm just going to take it out the bottom like they recommend. But we got to get this thing on the lift first. I'm not sure how I'll get a jack under it. We're going to see what we come up with. Take some experimentation. Well, after about 45 minutes of messing around, I think we're in a good spot. All I can do is do the best I can on the work I'm approved to do, and that's what we're doing. The whole subframe and everything is going to come down. I want you to take the transverse leaf spring out. They make a special tool that kind of pushes up on the ends and pulls down in the center so you can unload it and then reinstall it afterwards, but we don't have that. So we'll figure something out. Is that rubbing on the engine? All right, we'll have to investigate that too. Something's not right. Oh, look, a screwdriver. Cool. So I'm gonna take exhaust out of the way. I'm gonna get things soaking. We'll get deep creep going. Gotta drain the coolant and the oil, stuff like that. An engine reseal is basically like replacing the engine, because you take it down to the, we're not doing head gaskets, but we're doing every other gasket. So it's like putting another engine in the car, but all we're really doing is getting this one to hold on to its oil. Try not to spend hours and hours and hours fixing stuff that you're not working on. We'll see if I can resist the temptation. Probably not. That's what we do. You got to disconnect the shock, the tie rod end, and the ball joint. I think I'll put some jack stands under here and release the ball joint so the spring can go boing. I don't. Whoa. Faster. You know that's a Dodge Charger or something. Concern I have is the tool they want you to use to flatten the spring out for removal is $1,600. That's not going to happen. 21mm on the ball joint. Not as tight as I'd like it. Tie rod ends in 19. They had a piece of coat hanger in there for a cotter pin. Use my gear wrench joint splitter. Oh, that's not tight. Someone didn't tighten the tie rod end. I didn't do that. We are going to tighten it right now so I don't have to worry about remembering it. This ain't going anywhere until I release the shock. It's a bolt and a nut, and it'll go twang, but it's not going anywhere. The spring's bolted into two mounts. All it'll do is go punk. Hopefully. Stay. You're in timeout. You're gonna have to use some kind of a box wrench or something for that. The ball joint is loose. The spring's just not pulling it down. That one popped real easy. It's not even on the jack stand. I'm really glad I didn't buy the $1,600 spring compressor tool. Curious to see how much trouble these exhaust bolts will give us. Certainly don't want to brag yet. Huh. Man, if everything goes that smooth, this can be an easy ticket. Before we go too much further on, drain the oil and coolant out of it. A couple of clips for those O2 harnesses. Won't let it hit you in the head. Put a new gasket on the drain plug. Might be getting ahead of myself, but radiator drain's right there. Like that. Uh-oh. All of that planning, things go out the window when it hits the fan. This rubber plug is swole, not doing too good. There's a clamp in here. You loosen the Allen bolt. See that clamp up there? It's like a Torx or an Allen bolt, I forget which. You turn it so it faces the right way. Pull that bolt out of there. And you got to take this out of the way to take that out of the way. And take that collar off, and then once the cradles drop down past the studs, with the radiator out, you can slide it all forward, allegedly. How I'm going to do that, I don't know. Maybe I'll use that table. See how much weight it can hold. Try it out. You got to take about 255,000 8mm bolts out of here, and you can get to the other bolts around this. 10mm Allen. That'd be too tight for my 3/8. Well, we'll see. Told ya. I'm hoping the adapter might snap. These are sometimes pretty tight. Get these 8mm out now. Yeah, there's a lot of bolts in here, that's what I'm saying. Next thing I gotta get is these 13s. I want you to put a 55mm long, I think it's a 10 by 1.5, but you take the plug out and you run a bolt in there and a bolt in here, and there's a bearing that's on that shaft, and you basically, I think 27 foot-pounds of torque. It keeps that bearing from sliding out of the tube when you pull everything apart. I want to say I saved a couple of bolts last time I did it. Found the 2 bolts. Should thread right in here. Torque them at 26 foot-pounds. I do have to take the fans and the radiator. It says to take the ABS out, but I'm going to inspect things a little closer from the top first. There's 3 bolts holding the ABS to the bracket that goes to the subframe. That's the third of the 3. I disconnected the fan motors while I'm down here. Got the wiring harness out of its retainer. Loosen the radiator hose clamp. Gosh, I guess I'm going to have to discharge the AC too. Oh, I got to do the power steering hose. Now there's some things you might notice. Maybe that is far enough, but the hose has a mark here. It looks like there's a flange right there, but I'm not, the hose is pretty stiff, so I can't really check it too well. There's a lot of sketchy stuff on this poor car. We're going to be fixing oil leaks. We're going to have all the bolts tight. We'll have quite a few things fixed. I even noticed like the alternator bolt on the bottom here is not tight. Disconnected my battery. We're going to take the alternator out of the way. I'm going to take the tensioner over here, get the belt loose. Got to disconnect the fuel line. Yeah, I'm going to have to pull the refrigerant out of here. Now I can get to the steering column coupler bolt on the rack. I know. This aftermarket water pump has 2 ridges in it. Got the hoses off the radiator. I lowered the sway bar because it was right here and the motor didn't look like it was going to clear. I don't know. Let's see if this will fit out here somewhere. Chevrolet has squeezed some stuff in here. Good for them. An abundance of room afterwards. Oh, I still got to do the pinch bolt too. Don't let me forget that, will you? What's happening? What was that? Small woodland creature? Just a leaf. Either one's fine with me. It's nasty. I gotta blow all that dirt out of it. This ABS gonna have to come out of here. A couple more lines to go and we'll lift it out. Oh, the ground. Gotta get that 10mm round off of there. It's a shame he doesn't want to replace the ABS while we're in here. It's literally going to be out sitting in the parts pile while we do the engine work. Alright, wire is off the starter. I gotta take that ground off of there. We'll be able to drop this motor out of here tomorrow. All you gotta do is find a way to support the engine with one of those engine, like that red thing over there. Well, the ramps that make it so you can get it on the lift will also spread any kind of a load. I only need to support it long enough. What I'm going to do is lift it up, put a pole jack under it. So we're doing what we got to do to make it work. That's the bottom line. I think we'll be all right. If nothing else, it'll just make for some exciting content. I got this on here. This arm just keeps it from rolling this way. Tell me now if I shouldn't do this. We're gonna make it work. That's what we're doing, obviously. I mean, where can you find this kind of entertainment on YouTube other than here? I know we're getting a free screwdriver out of the deal if I ever get it out of here. It's no 10mm socket. It's made for gas tanks, but it works great for cradles and stuff like that. Fixing to get real up in here. High pressure power steering hose got to come off. So we're going to do that next. ABS bracket. How to take that off. Oh, that's not tight. That's cool. Hope it wasn't done by a professional, but it could have been. I don't know. Nowadays, the definition of professional is a little sketchy. Now, where was I? This must go to the magnet steel thing or something, or a couple of clips. And there is a lot going on in this thing. My engine support and the pole jack are sharing duties, so I can unbolt these mounts. Unbolt these mounts and bolt that to it, and then we'll let it down and we should be able to pop it off the drivetrain, I believe. Okay, got it all unbolted. I don't remember, it was 8 or 9 days ago last time I worked on it. Me and Joe carried the subframe back there. My original goal was to use a transmission jack and strap the engine to the transmission jack, but it would have been pretty awkward because this is only on a little post. So not sure if this is a better way or not, but I know it's a way. It's like Christmas. I wouldn't call these heavy-duty casters. I just call them duty casters. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I peeked at the instructions briefly. Don't take my man card. Instructions are for when you get stuck. That's unfortunate. These aren't going to work because you got to take the oil pan and the exhaust manifold off to get them on the block. Now what do I do? Take the handle off of here so it's low. Just lay it on the ground. Should be easy, right? It's close. The problem I'm seeing is I don't have anywhere to pry. It's all fiberglass. And I want to pry on the edge of the wiper cowl. So I'm going to have to get a helper to help me pull and see if we can get it off the splines. We're going to have to probably play with how much weight is on the splines. If you put too much weight on them, they'll bind and it won't want to come off. If it's done right, it should pop right off. It should. Now you can see it's coming off of that spline a little at a time. Of course, GM's got the harnesses bolted to the back of the cylinder heads, so I'm going to try to delatch it instead of debolting it. We'll see if that'll work. I was able to get to the bolt that holds the bracket on the other side for the harness, but this one's a little more of a bear. I must have blocked this out last time I did one of these, because this is a royal pain in the patootie. They said, how long do you think it'll have that motor out? I said, I don't know, maybe an hour. We're coming up on 2.5 hours now, so we do the best we can. You can see that I got quite a large gap down there, but it still feels like something's holding it. We're going to keep working it forward and checking for things still connected. When we get it forward far enough, we'll be able to lift the car up off of it. All right, I think that is about out of there. We're 3 hours in now, so I got 20 minutes just trying to get it forward off that spline and messing with the angle, the height of the car and all that. I can't really jack that too easily. If I could get to that pedal, I could. But it seems easier to move the lift up and down. The drivetrain's kind of floating there. Looks like they're separated now. Well, be advised if you're doing one of these, the wiring harness is bolted to the back of the engine in 4 places, and the air tube traps the harness in place. It's kind of an interesting design. I thought I did one of these, honestly. I either blocked it out from the trauma, or I'm not remembering it correctly, because this thing is just ridiculous. Some of these grounds I got from underneath, so I have to watch them on the way out, and the steering shaft is there too, so you got to watch the alternator mount on the brake lines. So what else we got to do? I think we're out now, so it's a matter of lifting it up now without any trauma. Alright, lifted the car up a couple more inches and I got the lines past the pump, so I don't have to try to figure that out with everything sunk down so far. She's getting there. Probably going to pull it forward when I see it kind of pulling the driveline down a little. Then I'll have to pull the motor forward a little more, but I kind of like having these lines where the opening is for now. This will give you an idea how long that shaft is going in the back of the motor. Let's turn the light on. Oh yeah, there you go. That is just about to clear. Our brake lines are clearing. I think we're all but out of here. I'm still gonna check it. Lifted another couple inches. So I think I wasted 45 minutes, an hour trying to figure something else out instead of just getting that. That's how you learn. You use your time to learn and try to make a living at the same time. It makes it interesting. Oh, we're all right. Tug up on the front end, make sure it's not too rear heavy. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. I looked around on the floor. Normally I would try to put some kind of a strap to the lift arms so it can't tilt backwards. So this car's got more weight in the back than most rear-wheel drive cars. Transmission's back there and all. So I don't want it to tip back, but it looks like we're going to be okay with that. Not so hard. That's 2 cans of brake clean. Got everything marked. I'm gonna get the flywheel and stuff off. I'm gonna put it on an engine stand and do 90% of the work on an engine stand. The problem is it's gonna be hard to get to this rear cover. Few that are close. This one's perfect. These are close. This is ridiculous, but that's what we're going to use. That's all I can find. Get the engine hoist. Lift this thing onto the stand. Some people try to hold the engine on the hoist and have this in the stand and line it. I think it's easier just to bolt this up, slide this onto the stand, and you're done. Lifted it too high.
Ooh, that looks sassy.
Doesn't it though? You know you want one. Throw this bad Johnny in the Mazda while it's out.
Uh-huh.
Throw this in the Mazda while it's out.
There you go.
This. Let's do it over here. Because that's going to not feel good on my hand. A really nice engine stand if you do a lot of engine work. They have one with a crank on here and you turn the crank and it spins the engine for you. And it's also a lot more heavy duty. This is rated for 750 pounds, but I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say more like 450 pounds, which this will be fine. It's all aluminum. Come back and we'll flip this thing over. Timing cover alignment tool, remain seal alignment tool. 25 bucks on the Amazon website. What do they call it? The Jungle website. New valve cover gaskets. I'm gonna do those first. It's easy right at the top, and then I'm gonna do the valley gasket at the top, and then everything else is timing cover, rear main, and oil pan. 8mm for the valve cover. We'll clean that up in the parts washer. Pretty good inside. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. Cleaned everything off really well here. This was all black before, and it's all on the ground here now. I'm on like 6 cans of brake clean to try to get some of the nastiness off of it while I work on it. Got to change the rubber bushings on the valve covers too. You guys know that's what presses the gasket down, right? First gasket on the Corvette engine is complete. We get the valley cover off, coolant bleeding tubes. Should be little O-rings on the bottom of it if I remember correctly, or there's little tiny gaskets. These just slide up on the wire, and you get these little squeeze tabs out of here. That's what I thought. You gotta grab I think it's 7/8, and I believe they're 14 foot-pounds. If you disturb them, you gotta put them back to 14 foot-pounds. Then I'll be able to lift that valley cover off. 2 of those knock sensors. A couple rubber discs go down over the posts in the block so that they sit down on that post, and the cone kind of helps everything guide itself into place. Parts are rolling in here like mad. I gotta clean up the threads on these bolts. Tricky little sons of guns. They're so cute over at GM. It's like Milwaukee and GM got together and made it perfect. I'll get my bolts in the parts washer. The Winged Wonder. Gotta take the water pump off. Sweet 12 point. Looks like about a 26 or 28mm bolt. Cool. End of the round. Someone done glued it on there, pretty near good. Got them cool Velcro gaskets. I gotta get that balancer off. I've stalled long enough. Oh wait, no I haven't. I can install one more part. Now, I've stalled long enough. This aftermarket balancer doesn't come off like the factory ones. Those have the spokes and you put the tool in and you put a post down the center. This doesn't do that one. So we're going to come up with something old school. My 8mm bolts threaded in pretty good.
Here goes the dumb question. Should I put more Loctite on these?
Imagining things. So this thing is just on like Donkey Kong. Alright, I gotta get the right size socket, stop horsing around. 9/16. socket's getting hot. People want to pretend these have 550 foot-pounds. They can't do a simple task like that. It's more like 60 foot-pounds. What a difference a larger anvil makes. Parts washer, but no need to clean this one. We got a whole new timing cover.
Fuck you, man, I told you, just an oil change.
Tune up an oil change, that's what I'm doing. Got my cool alignment tools, might as well try and use them. This emulates the oil pan, but you don't have to put RTV and make a mess. There's another alignment tool that goes in place of the seal if you're just trying to align the cover. But I'm not going to press out the new seal and try to press it back. It's going to do more harm than good, I think. This is a Dorman timing cover, by the way. Not sure how I feel about it yet. But I'll let you know in a month or two. This crank pulley has a keyway, but these crankshafts don't have a keyway. It's hot rod stuff, I guess. And it was, you guys saw how tight it was getting off of there. If you look really closely, this is the part that seals. This is dust seal. This is the seal in here. It's a little, looks a little wider on this side. I didn't tighten any of these up yet, of course. They tell you to tighten these two, snug these two, put your alignment tool in, and then torque all these bolts. Pull the alignment tool out and put the seal in. But I don't like to rely on the seal lining itself up. There's a spring behind here on most of them, but these Teflon seals, it just relies on that Teflon burnishing into the sealing surface. There's no real spring on it. The material behaves like a spring. My oil pan simulator's in place. My timing cover looks pretty centered to me. That is the right balancer. I double checked. There's a couple different options. This is one of them. 2305. There's a 2301 from Summit. This tool will let me get a really good visual of how well it's centered. You can't align it up and down because it's going to be flat with the oil pan no matter what. You can only align it this way. I think we're going to be good right there. I'm going to call perfect. Got to put RTV in any of these seams when we put the oil pan on, but probably not going to get that done today because you got to get the rear timing cover done. Got all these old tools that don't work, that they obsolete out about every 5 years, so you gotta buy more. Those are not hard hits, they're love taps. I don't know if that's on there far enough, but it's on there. We're gonna see. Get a torque wrench and torque that, but first I'm going to put the flywheel back on the motor and things like that, and then we'll come back to it. We had to make it work on that. It's going to be fine. Cleaned her off a little bit. Want the old girl presentable. There's a little notch in the mount. I know the balancers aren't good for two reasons. I'm wondering if this shoulder is your indicator that it's on all the way, and it's straight with the AC belt, but we're still going to torque it and that'll confirm it 100%. Now we got to see if we can sneak that rear cover out of there. Put the oil pan on without a gasket, put everything all lined up, put the bolts in, just kind of snug these two corner bolts, install my cover, put my alignment tool on there the best I can to make sure my seal looks centered left to right. When you push it over the crankshaft, it kind of centers itself, but if you're kind of ham-fisted, you can pull the cover off one side or the other, and then in about 5,000 miles it'll be back leaking again. I'd like to say that was a lot of fun. I was afraid that it doesn't fit. Got the engine hoist on the front. Got a little more room back here. I thought I was so smart. And I found out it worked. What's the big deal? I gotta do some cleanup work. Get the new one slid in there before I bolt anything on. Nothing but love. Oh yeah, bring on the doorman, bring on the best. No lubrication on these. This gets really close to the crankshaft. It helps with the left to right alignment. Got quite a bit done on it yesterday. We still got a ways to go. I got to finish buttoning up the rear cover. I'm using the oil pan to help align the rear cover. I'm gonna get back on this Corvette engine. Get some of these 10s snugged up. Make sure everything's lined up nice and flat right here. This is the old gasket on the pan still. They're riveted on, so you got to drill the rivets. You don't have to rivet the new one on, but that's how the old one was. Once you get some bolts snugged up, make sure everything's lined up really well. Then we can start putting in, torquing all these bolts. I am gonna have to clean everything. I'm gonna make a little bit of a mess, but everything's looking perfect actually. So let's get the cover bolts in. It's important that these bolts are snug but not tight. You want to allow that little bit of movement you saw. You want that. Trust me, you want it. Do not lubricate that rear main seal. It specifically says in the instructions, do not lubricate, because that seal needs to burnish into the crank. Sorry if that's repetitive for those of you that have been around a while. It is kind of hokey, I know. It must help them with assembly or something. I still got to flush this out. So normally I would cover all these ports, but I'm still going to take the filter off, put it back in the parts washer and all. So I saw you typing. That's all right. And I film while I'm at work. I don't put on a show and do fake productions with stuff that no one actually really does in the real world. You do what you got to do every day to get by, right? Whether you're a flat rate mechanic, whether you just make professional auto repair videos, either way. I do want to get some more of that rivet out of there. I could take my grinder and just get that a little flush. You want to put the RTV goes under the gasket. That's where the gaps are at. The oil pan's all one piece, right? Cleaned up pretty good. Alright, on to the next phase of the operation. Got some cute little gaskets on there. It's adorable. Pretty cleaned up. Knock sensor connectors are in. These are just covers. They just kind of sit there. You got to feed them down the wire to get them kind of snug on the valley. Cleaned off my gasket surfaces really good. They don't look too pretty, but you guys probably know if you've been watching a while, I don't put Scotch locks on there and grind metal away just to make it look prettier. If it's nice and smooth to the touch and you don't feel any old gasket material or carbon deposits or anything like that, you're good. I cleaned up the bolts a bit. 3 of them were really nasty, 3 weren't too bad. In any event, I'm going to put thread sealer on them. The coolant will just slowly seep up the threads. That's the only thing we're missing. Bomba de agua. On cue. You got background music. I didn't even plan it. That's a lot easier out of the car, I'll tell you what. Here's the button. Oh, here it is. Now because this one's open, see the difference? It's almost exactly what I hoped would happen. Flywheel. You don't want to put any thread lock at the top of the bolt. That could cause problems. Some people like red. I prefer blue. Back in the day, I didn't use any thread lock. I just zipped them back in. Never had a problem with one, but nowadays we know a lot more, so we do a lot more. Hopefully that'll work. This icon ratchet, the cap threads on backwards, just so you know. Hello! Tells you to do this in 3 stages. So what I did is I used my 65 foot-pound, what do they call these? Torque sticks? I'm kind of curious where the torque's going to be with it. Let's see. 61 it started turning.
I'm moving you know this way, thinking he's going that way, and he comes this way.
These are locking nuts. Alright, we're about ready to drop the car into this engine. Keep in mind, this car's been on the lift for 2 weeks and this line is still leaking, so I had to put a fresh rag on it. I didn't make the cradle quite as clean, but I did clean off the heavy stuff. I put some rags in there instead of paper towels. I don't know why, it just made me feel a little better than the paper towels did. This goes on the bolt for this, holds this bracket. I was going to put the intake on, but then I remembered how much easier it was to get back here to do the wiring stuff. But we do have new intake gaskets ready to go. They got me the PCV tube. Let's set you in a safe spot. We're going to stop and check quite a few times. I don't want to brag, but totally kind of eyeballed it. I'm within a ½ inch or so. Look at the shaft. Not bad eyeballs for an old man, huh? Alright, enough bragging, let's get to work. All we can do is get a mirror. Yeah, I think we're going to be close enough to give it a try. Shove it back a couple inches, check it with the mirror again and see where we're at. And now it's been so long here, I'm trying to remember the order that I undid the harness and stuff, but we are close. I think we're engaging the splines. It's not in yet, but it's close. Oh, oh! I need a medic. We're down about ½ inch, 12 or 13 millimeters. So what I've been doing is sitting on that tire and kicking the ends of the table, kind of kicking it and wiggling it and and I can kind of feel when it's moving, but it's going super slow. I've been playing with it for about 10 minutes now, and I said, you know what, my friend wants to see, I'm gonna film it, and I don't want anybody getting nauseous. Let's do this. See if we can get this thing to go on that last half inch or so. That felt like a good one. Oh, look at that thing. That's in. You can see the clean stuff and the not so clean stuff. I think what I'm going to do is put my contraption back on there that I used to get it apart so that I can lift it up off the table. I want to suspend it, lift it up, get a pole jack under it. Easy peasy, let's get the pole jack. There's two more up top. Some of these bolts also hold the harness in place and stuff. I'm using quarter drive stuff to put it in. I'll put a 3/8 socket on there once they're tightened up though. I also got I don't remember if this goes to the starter or to the ground. I'm going to say it goes to the ground. I'll have to look it up. I know I can hook this up when I get to it, but I'm going to focus on all my bell housing bolts and my wire harness bolts first. Some people were talking about how it's going to be rear heavy, and I agree. I pulled up on the front end pretty aggressively with it about a foot off the ground, and I couldn't lift the front of the car up. But I am being very cautious of how much I pole jack things, and right now I could literally take this out. My engine holder is what's really holding it up top. So we're being cautious, even if it doesn't look like it, and we are doing a little bit of making it work as well. That's what we do every day. That's enough. This swivel doesn't have enough flexibility. Clipper doodle thing back in. Yeah, I get that out of my mind. My next thing is to put the bolt in the pinch clamp. I gotta torque that thing. It's like 90 foot-pounds or something crazy like that. What does Rat Rob Bob say? It's gonna be great. We're getting it. We just thank God yet. That's what he says. He's pretty cool. He's even older than me, so I call him old. And I'm old too. Alright, we're committed now, or we should be. These 6 foot labs. That is pretty tight. Good workout. Alright, looks just like the picture. The 3 wires I thought go to the starter, and the little pigtail and the ground cable go to ground. Better safe than sorry. We don't want to test out fusible links and stuff like that. I'll put this in too. This bolt's on here. There's a lot of stuff going on, but you take it one step at a time. A job like this, you're not trying to set records and smash the book time. I want to get it done right. This is the 3rd rag I've had on here for drips. Today is 16 days it's been apart and still dripping. Tighten them up. On to the next phase. Pretty tight on those. Make sure it's not touching or rubbing anywhere. Definitely don't want to touch in the starter signal post. Starter's in. I'm ready for the cross member. What do you think? Just like when I took it out, I don't know if I showed it. I am going to put a pole jack under the back while I'm pushing the cradle and the engine and everything up to the car. I want the car to stay where it's at and not raise up, because you could force it to raise up We don't want to do that. Got it. It should attach to, should go on the engine post. What do they call them? Engine mount post or the motor mount post, whatever you like. Motor, engine, I don't care what you call it. Getting it up on the motor mounts, and then finding your chassis studs. There's a hole next to the hole. Don't worry, I'll edit it down. It'll seem like no time at all. The mounts are definitely in. The cradle bolts or studs are partially in the holes. That's the part the rear pole jack's for. There are guide pins as well. Guide pins right here come out of the frame. So the studs and guide pins for alignment. Kool-Aid?
You know it.
Oh yeah. Woo! Alright. Stuff is happening. Now I can take the pole jack out of the back. The engine cradle's still attached up the top, but the chain's got slack and it's not holding it up. See if we can do something with this. Alright, there we go. We got tools for that. Gravity check. I just got gravity check shirts going in the sticker mule store soon. I'll put these bolts in. It's gonna be kind of boring. We'll zap them in real quick. I'm gonna tighten these bolts off camera because that's really boring. We don't want to make it any worse than it already is. Just like that, they're all done. Just sitting there running, warming up the area as if it's not hot enough yet. Let's put this exhaust pipe back up. Get some more stuff off the pile of parts on the floor behind me. We'll do some big stuff first. Get that exhaust in. I'll get the ball joints and tower ends hooked up. Doesn't fit back in. Sorry. Alright, you gotta, watch your head, you gotta feed the exhaust in over the oil pan onto the manifold studs. And they're not symmetrical apparently, I thought they were, but I didn't look really close. But these are not evenly spaced. So I think this one, these are the furthest apart. And they also don't want to clear the oil pan, so you can't really turn them. Some people were saying just pull it out the top, but the reason you can't pull it out the top is because the spline shaft for the drivetrain goes in the bell housing about 6-7 inches, and the cross number's right here, in case it wasn't clear earlier. Let's see if we can get this back up here. We got it. Nothing on this car is easy though, I'll tell you what. What the heck was that? I heard a loud crash. I had to see if you got hurt. You're just putting the wheel on? I heard a loud crash. Oh, I had to go see if he was alive. Another weird thing on these, the left side O2 goes over and goes down the right side, and the right side O2 goes over and goes down this side. There's another connector up there for that one, and there's two hangers back here that are spring loaded, so we're gonna button those up. The flanges are last. Tighten a few of these bolts, we'll move on to something more interesting. This This is cool custom aftermarket exhaust. So you gotta kind of tweak things a little bit, get it back in place. Something's telling me not to try to reuse that bolt. I'm gonna go see if I can scrounge up another one. Off camera, I did a full-on bolt restoration. It didn't look nearly that pretty when I first found it. And it kind of cleaned some threads on the way in, but it went. So we got the exhaust all buttoned up now. On to bigger and brighter things. Content is about to get riveting. Please move forward to the edge of your seat. Got a tranny jack, might as well tranny jack it. Now don't forget, you got to get both your nuts on the bottom of this, otherwise it's not going to tighten. And since I moved the tranny jack further in like I wanted, kind of screwed myself there. Two things you don't want to do: screw yourself and not be able to get your nuts tight. It always ends bad. No exceptions. Is it going? Are you serious? Well, that is absolutely awesome. I told you it always works and nothing can stop you. You know why we win? Superior attitude, superior state of mind. Now somehow, by magic of some sort, that stays together without a cotter pin. I don't know how. No Loctite, no cotter pin. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm surprised there aren't Corvettes with suspensions blown apart laying all over the road. We got our balls jointed up, and we can turn it from the bottom and put a wrench on the top. There it is. I see the bolt will hold, and the lever turns. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to get the new car smell already, and it's early. Tower it in, that's got to have a cotter pin, so that's what we're doing. Top of the line, cotter pin extravaganza. Rain Man Ray approved, brand new. I know it just put a smile on his face right there. He always watches my videos. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm trying to get the steering clamp tight. Yeah. I guess that's tight. I'm gonna get the pair of steering hose in the rack neck. I haven't hooked up the ABS wiring yet. I looped it out the front here, so it's hanging down on my face. I did put a new O-ring on this hose the day I took it apart. Well, I wouldn't want to do this if I had the ABS back end. Let's get about 14 to 18 foot-pounds, just aluminum like I mentioned earlier. Your seat in the O-ring, and you don't want it to vibrate loose. And this was actually loose when I took it apart, if you remember. The ABS, I find, it's going to go to this clip in here from the sensor from the wheel, ends up here. So this has to end up here. That's that. That's in there. This goes into the bracket down here, which I tweaked and tweaked back. Got my brake line hooked up. And those clamps are really bothering me. Well, if we're going to do it, it's going to be a last minute thing. We'll see what time it is. We get to fire it up and we got an hour left in the day or a half hour. I'll play with that. The sway bar goes in after the radiator fans. That's like the last thing before I put the wheels on, basically, because everything goes up from the bottom. You guys remember this old girl? When I run out of stuff to connect, I'll know where it goes. I just happen to have 4 bolts with aluminum washers on them. And this time the rack bolts are going to be tight, the subframe bolts are going to be tight, power steering hoses are going to be tight. As long as it doesn't leak, it's going to be great. Let's get this thing some works. You know what I'm saying? I put my nuts on there loosely. And we're going to drop it in place and see how it goes. Once I get ready to complain, boom, right on. No big deal. And get all these lines in here loosely. This one goes to the right front. The 2 larger lines go from the master to the ABS, and the 4 smaller lines go to the 4 wheels. I'll put brake fluid in it. We'll let it do a gravity bleed. Then I can tighten up all these lines right here after a little while I mess with other things. And then we'll go bleed it at the wheels after that. Okay, we're gravity bleeding at the ABS. Took the cap off the master to help with that. And let those other 4 get to business while I gotta hook up a ground back here, a couple sensors. And then we can put the intake on. I gotta torque those 2 bolts down where the engine holding stand was. We might actually be firing this up today. It's going well so far. I probably shouldn't have said that, but hey. Yeah. It fits in there, trust me. It's not worth racing home about. Well, I guess not, huh? Condenser wins. It's not going back in. I hope they didn't want air conditioning. Gotta be something I can't see from the top. There's a little tab on the radiator here that sticks out here and did not want to let the condenser past it no matter how much I jiggled from the top. I came down here and lifted the condenser like 1/8 of an inch. Bloop, fell down. I'm trying to put the belt on, but it doesn't seem to fit. It's kind of strange. I think this belt that came off of there, unless someone's playing a trick and switched it on me. Thank you. Just 1/8 of an inch away from being perfect. Sway bar. It's a good time. 2 bolts, 2 bolts, 2 nuts. But it looks like there should have been a washer in there. These are the nuts that were on them. I'm gonna get some kind of washer to put underneath it. Should be perfect little donuts. I know those nuts were on there because same nuts on the top, and I didn't take those off. I might have to go underneath. I might have to I'm backing it down. I might have to move this underneath the sway bar. This kind of stuff you got to watch for when you haven't had something apart a long time. We'll just reconnect it. That's cool. All right, it didn't want to be under the sway bar, and it didn't want to be where it was between the hose and sway bar. So the only place left is above the hose and sway bar. Everyone's happy. I just got to hook up the upper cooler line. The radiator hose there, I got this end on. So the top of the lower hose, the whole upper hose, a serpentine belt, intake manifold, and some oil. The last thing will be coolant. The hose clamp on there a little bit better. Get it. Plugging in the map sensor in the back of the manifold. How to get this back here. I was going to lay it back there before putting the intake in, but I'm like, it'll be in the way. There's so much stuff squeezed behind this manifold. The booster hose back there, the fuel line and vapor lines, the air tubes. I mean, there is a lot of stuff squeezed back there. That's the remainder of the broken PCV assembly. I still got to put the purge valve in here. What's the expression? 5 pounds of shit in a 1 pound bag. Fuel line, injectors, purge valve slides down the little bracket. The red electrical connector goes to it. Plugs in the metal line back here. Make sure it's clicked on. Man, look at all the stuff squeezed in there. I got my power steering fluid in it. Got brake fluid in it. I haven't bled them yet. I've got my breather hose in. I bolted it to the little stud for the steam holes. I'm gonna get some oil, put some oil in it. sealant's in it, brake fluid's in it, power steering fluid. But it's all looking good. I got to put a whole bunch of screws back in here. Oh, look at this sweet, sweet Corvette. We got vacuuming down the AC. I put all my screws in. I put my air cleaner on. I didn't film it. I didn't think it was too exciting. Plus the diesel running out here all morning so far. I got a belt that works. I got coolant in it. Everything seems to be buttoned up. I think we're about ready to start it. Battery's hooked up. Everything's good over here. Spiders. Let's fire it up. I do still have to bleed the brakes and oh, I don't want to fire it up till I find that rubber biscuit that fell out. Cycle the key a few times, get some fuel pressure. Change oil. Ah, oh, battery's dead. That's terrible. So much for the suspenseful engine start. Let's put the charger on it. I'm going to use my jump box that Locathor just sent me to try out. It's a cute little thing. 11.6. Now I don't know if I have to push a boost button or anything. We'll try it without pushing any buttons. And we'll see what it does. I got to push a boost button of some kind. Mode. Max. Let's see. Ta-da! Nothing pouring out underneath. The little jump box did its job. Hope that lifter tick goes away. It runs. It's on fire. Don't panic. Anytime you spray off all that gook and gunk and all that kind of stuff, it's going to smoke a little bit when you first fire it up. I'm going to let it run a little bit. The lifter quieted down. I had one lifter doing a little ticky tick. We're going to let it run a little bit. We're going to finish evacuating and recharging the AC, make sure that works. And believe it or not, the brake pedal's halfway decent. Like the brake fluid stayed in the lines and the gravity bleeding might have done. I do need to bleed them, but it's like 90% of what it should feel like. It's actually drivable with the brake pedal it has without even bleeding it yet. But I'm going to wait till after I finish the AC to bleed the brakes, because I don't want to lift it up with the lines attached. I'm going to wait for the fans to cycle on and off, and then I'll shut it off and we'll bleed the brakes a little bit, get the tires on it, take it for a drive. So I can drive it, although the tires are so bad, I'm not going to go far. I won't go over like 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. I'll just zip it around here a little bit, lift it back up, recheck it for leaks. Should be done. The ABS light's on because the ABS module's bad. All we need now is a perfect brake pedal and we're going to go drive it. We passed the leak test with flying colors. It says it holds 1.7. I'm going to let that cook a minute. We'll get some air out of these brakes. You can see the bubbles. Tiny bubbles in the wine, but they're all gone now basically. So once you stop seeing those little bubble trails, then we can go on to the next wheel. Well, you know what? I took logs off. I gotta dig up a couple of nuts. Corvette is running great. Everything's good. Something's going on with the horn pad, and someone disconnected the horn because of it. So it's going to need a horn pad. That much I know. I was surprised you wanted to know about the horn when his tire's about to explode. We'll see if we get to fix that. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Torque the like button before you head out. Hope I see you in another video, because you're awesome.